Hey ladies, it's been a while since I came live, but here we are, and I want to talk about when your hubby expects you to mother him. Hi Melissa, hi Suzanne, hi everybody. So one of the, hi Chamurgar, hi Lynn, hi. So let's talk about mothering, okay? So one of the biggest frustrations my private clients have is they find that they are always in a position where they have to play the warrior woman. They always find themselves in a position where they have to be the strong one. They have to be the one who is moving and shaking things in the relationship. Okay, so this is something that I've been hearing through and through with my private clients. Okay, they're very successful women. They are very smart. They're very brilliant in their careers. However, when it comes to the relationship, they find they cannot even get their man to fix the plumbing. Okay, or if something happened in the shower, it's taking her to remind him like 3, 4, 5 times, and then she gives up and decides to go and fix it herself. Okay, so let's talk about this kind of energy, okay? And if you're here, mother energy is anything you do, anything you feel you have to do for your man, okay? In the sense that if it was a child, it's like you are with a child. Okay? And it happens a lot. Because as women, we are very nurturing. We are very caring. This is how we get children. This is how we run our homes. This is who we are as women. However, this lands very differently on men. If you're always having to check on him, if you're always having to follow up with him, you're giving him all this advice, anything that you are doing, which first of all, nobody has asked you to do, but you just feel like if you cannot do it, if you do not do it, nothing is gonna get done. Chances are you are in your mother energy. Okay, now there is nothing wrong because your child needs a mother. Your son he needs you to come and correct him. If he comes home with a report card, he's number 22 out of 24. It is your job to go and figure out how he's gonna be number 3 or whatever it is that you want. Yeah? For you, that is your role as a mother. However, many times as wives, we confuse that role, and usually it starts with very, very small things. Yeah? It starts with you, maybe he's fallen asleep. He's supposed to take the kid to work. And drop your questions. I'll be going through. He's supposed to take your kids to work, or he's supposed to fix the plumbing. He does not do it. And then you feel you have to step in and correct. So what that happens is you end up being resentful. And many times, why do women end up doing that? Especially very successful women. We are so used to fixing things. You're so used to fixing things. You're moving and shaking stuff in the boardrooms. You're leading multi-million-dollar brands. You are in the boardroom. So you are already used to being in that fixer mode. So a big part of it is why you feel you have to come in and step in is you fear that he's not going to do it. And part of that is you are so used to being in control, you do not know how to let go. And that's where a huge part of mothering comes in. Mothering happens when you fear, and I'm talking about mothering a grown-ass man. I'm not talking about, and some of the questions I get are, if he's an alcoholic, if he's a drunk, my goodness, I mean, some of you are selecting to be with men who you know are not capable. I'm talking about men who, this man also has a corporate career. He's going to work. He has things he's doing. He's probably a senior level manager. But at home you find he just does not do anything. Those are the kind of men I'm talking about. Drop your questions. Feel free to drop your questions. So like I've mentioned, why women feel that need to come and step in is because of control. That usually is the big issue. It's a control issue. You want things done at your time, at your pace, because you probably feel that your way is the best way, your timing is the best timing. It's a control thing, yeah? And one of the ways to let go of control is to learn to trust. Because if you're following up your hubby 10 times over the same thing over and over again, you do not trust that he has heard you. Now, what starts to happen is a pattern starts to form within that dynamic. You don't trust he's capable of waking up to take your kid. You start waking him up. Wake up, wake up, wake up. So what does that do? He just relaxes. He stops doing anything. The relationship cannot have two of the same energies. So you have decided you want to control. You want to go call the plumber. You want to go wake him up. You have stepped into the man zone. Yeah? And what happens when you step into the masculine, the relationship cannot have two masculine energies, especially if it is a man married to a woman. So that's why the man just zooms away. He just zones out. Men know how to conserve energy. Men know how to conserve energy. That's just how they are wired. That's why if you find them in a group, there's always one alpha male. And then the rest are like, they lean back. Because that's just how men are. Let me know if this is landing. Let me know if this is landing. And if you have any questions around mothering, feel free to drop them in the comment section. Okay. So, like I've mentioned, mothering comes from control issues. Okay? Because what I've seen with my private clients, once you start to let go of control, once you start to trust, these men just start to pick up. Okay? And many times it's usually a symptom of an even deeper issue. If you're having to remind this man to fix the plumbing 10 times, if this man is probably not providing for you, you're in a 50-50 marriage, there is an emotional attraction issue. Okay? And this is something we cannot address on a live. This is what I support my private clients with one-on-one. Okay? So if you find that you started off like this man was a go-getter, and now things are just not moving, it's a sign that your relationship slowly is disconnected. Okay? So I'm controlling, how do I work on myself to start trusting? So now this is where inner work comes in. This is where femininity work comes in. Okay? Because a lot of these control issues is probably some of you may not have grown up seeing, and this is something I also see a lot with my private clients. They grew up seeing their mothers being the strong force in their homes. So it's like their mothers did 200% to get the homes going. So most of them have adopted this way of doing relationships, and they are finding that they are also now coming to take 200% in their homes. So this is where internal work starts with. Okay. So my question then to you is, at what point do you feel, this is Simu, at what point do you feel you're not able to trust? Where is that fear coming from? Where is that fear coming from? Because that technically is a trust issue. Yeah? It's different if your man wants to do something and he says, okay, I've heard. If you are at ease, it doesn't matter how long it's gonna take, unless it's something that's like a boundary. If it's something that's such a big deal, then that's where you come in. Okay, so Simu, my question to you is, where is this fear coming from? Because if you are not trusting, there's a fear issue. Okay, so maybe that is something for you to reflect on. And this is work I support my ladies with privately. If you are feeling you are at a point where you're seriously considering divorce, because mothering is just a drop in the ocean of many other things that go on in a relationship to reach a point where it's disconnected. And here's the thing. Relationships, you don't wake up, like if you are married, you do not wake up like one day and find everything is breaking apart. Like even from my experience, because I've been married for 12 years, by the time I was thinking of seriously leaving, it did not just happen on that one day. It's a series of small things. Nagging, complaining, resentment, poor communication skills, little by little that just keep building up. So even when I'm talking about mothering, I'm sure like if you're to work with me privately, this is just one issue that probably is going on in the relationship. If you don't make it work, it won't happen. So you can imagine if that's the mindset. If you don't make it work, then it won't happen. So then what's the role? Like sometimes you have to also ask yourself as a grown woman, as a grown person, you've had this mentality of, and I'm going to give some tough love, yeah? I'm going to give some tough love. And I'm speaking with you because I know we are wives, we are women, we have children to raise. There are kids who are looking up at us. So if probably you've been sitting and thinking, my mother said, if I don't make it work, it won't happen. Okay, so you've tried that perspective for how many years? Is it working? Yes or no? Because insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. So my question to you is, do you want the same background as your mother? Are you or your mother? Do you want the same outcome as your mother? So like I've mentioned, the first step is to realize that, okay, there is possibly a trust issue. That's why you may find, even if you express something to him, even if I don't know what just happened, even if you've expressed yourself to him and nothing is getting done and you feel you have to come and save that scenario, then you are training yourself and him. In fact, the biggest thing is men are trained. He's been trained to expect you to carry the load. So my question is, for how long do you want to continue carrying this load? Because let me tell you, any man, men want to be men, yeah? He will sit in that marriage for whatever number of years. One day he'll just wake up and go. He'll wake up and exit and go where he feels like a man. Because for sure, if he's in a relationship with a woman who is constantly nagging, yelling, all these things, every day he's being emasculated. Every day he's being reminded that he's not a grown man. One day he'll just pick up his bags and go and start afresh. And this is why, like, sometimes you find first wives have this thing of where they're so angry, they're so bitter. Really, at the end of the day, it's up to you to figure out, to look at it and say, okay, I've been fearing, I've been thinking that it's always up to me to make it work. Is it working? How is that mindset working for me? Am I happy? And if you're happy, that's perfect. This life is not for you. If you're not, then probably, babe, you need a whole new mindset shift. Okay. So like I mentioned, if you're seriously thinking about divorce and you want to redirect your relationship with ease, yeah, feel free to DM me and let's see if we are a good fit to work together. Because one of the things I'm also picking up, even from my conversations with clients, is they're going for therapy. They're going for counseling. And they still end up coming to me. I've worked even with therapists. All my clients, they are in therapy, they're in counseling. I've worked with a therapist. And what I'm realizing is that A huge block for many women is they do not think they are worthy of getting the relationship they want. So you're there mothering, not because you want to, because you feel you have to chase this man's love. You have to always consistently prove yourself to him without realizing you're doing his job. So that's why you will sit here on a live like this and say you want to become a pampered wife, and then I invite you to come and actually become a pampered wife. You start to think twice or three times. Why? Because you're so used to sitting in a space where you're comfortable with being the workhorse, with being the builder. But I always say, you always have a point where you say enough is enough. And I want you to imagine yourself, it's 40 years from now, or even 6 months from now. What will happen when your relationship stays the same? The other day I posted and said this thing of staying home alone on Friday nights. Your hubby is out doing whatever he's doing. You have no idea with his boys, with work, whatever it is. You're sitting there drinking 2-3 bottles of wine, and babe, no shame, no shame. I was almost divorced, so I know that pain. But what I'm telling you is that your story doesn't have to end in misery. You can get to enjoy Saturday mornings with your family. Sit on the dinner table, enjoy your breakfast as a family, sober, if that's what you want. Your son can come and start knocking in the bedroom and say, Mom, Dad, what's that noise I'm hearing on Saturday at 7 a.m.? We've been sold a lie. We have been sold a lie. The way you probably saw your relationship happening is probably not what you want. We've all gone to school really well. We have our careers, we have our MBAs, we have our whatever it is. Why is it that it's okay to sit in a relationship where you're always having the same arguments over and over again? The day I decided I wanted better, the day I decided I'm not gonna settle, is the day everything changed money-wise. I can't even explain the leaps we have done financially just because of being at ease. I cannot explain how my health has improved just because of being at ease in a marriage. However, there are two things I will always hear. And here's the thing. You do not necessarily need two people. In fact, most of my clients, and usually one of the other big things that prevents them from coming forward is they feel shame. Yeah? Because somehow we've been taught that their marriage relies on you. And let me know if this is landing. And that's why a lot of wives internalize shame. So you will stay up at night crying yourself to sleep before you go and actually seek support because you feel ashamed. You feel like you're less of a woman. You feel like it's your fault that things are not working out in the relationship. And I'm here to tell you, no, babe. No. All relationships go through rough patches. This is just the season of life. And that's why I listen to some of these coaches who are saying, oh, get another man. You should have set your value when you're dating. I'm like, babe, you have no idea what you're talking about because relationships all ebb and flow. We all change. You probably want different things. You're not the same babe you were last week. You're different every single day. And we are all allowed to grow and change. And why I speak with women is because you have no idea how much power you have as a woman. You have no idea how much power you have as a woman. Your power does not come from how much advice you're giving this man. It's just based on your standards for yourself. Based on how you feel and what you feel your worth is as a woman. However, if you're sitting there thinking, oh my goodness, I do not want to reconnect this relationship, I do not want to do anything to rock the boat because this man has way more options than I do, and I'm not attractive anymore because I am 40, I have 2 kids, where am I gonna go? Babe, you're selling yourself short. You are selling yourself short. Let me see if there are any questions that are coming up. So like I've mentioned, mother energy is anything you're doing for a man that you feel like you're dealing with a child. No, that's an unhealthy dynamic. You're not dealing with a child. You just have a very unhealthy dynamic going on between the two of you. Yeah? All the advice, all the checking up on him. I've even had some clients who, and this we even, right now we can laugh about it, where like if their man is sick, they will call him the following day to remind him to go to the doctor, book for him his appointments. Babe, who asked you to do all those things? That is mothering. Okay. Now you may be wondering, what's the difference between nurturing? Nurturing is very different. Nurturing is very different, okay? So, for instance, if your hubby is sick, okay? If your hubby is sick, it's okay to make him soup or whatever it is that you want. It's okay to light eucalyptus incense. It's okay to give him a warm blanket on that one day. That is concern. However, if you find yourself like it's the first day he's not going to hospital, the second day, the third day, you're still doing that stuff, still warming him soup, still bringing him blankets. He's not doing anything on his own. It's like you're dealing with a child. And even if you see him deteriorating, you're feeling like, okay, isn't it his body? Isn't it his body? So yes, we can be caring, but not to the point where you are, and you know what? You probably know you're doing too much. You're giving too much. So like with the example of flu, day 1 is okay. We are women, yeah? We are caring. That's fine. But if you're on day number 3, still serving him soup, the man has not gone to hospital, you're there cooking him soup, bringing him blanket, lining, putting up incense and all this and all that, for how long are you going to do this? That's a very simple example between nurturing and mothering. And I always say, you will always feel it in your body, okay? Unless you are the kind of woman who feels like your value comes from what you do. Because there are some women who have such a low self-esteem. And let's talk about this, huh? Low self-esteem is a real thing. Where you feel, oh my goodness, my husband needs me, so therefore I have to do this. Then you start to be in a codependent kind of dynamic. Okay, let me see if there are any questions coming up. So like I've mentioned, mothering is anything you do, like you're dealing with a child. The second thing, mother energy, anything you're doing for your man that does not feel good, chances are you're giving too much. Okay, and anytime you're giving too much, you're most likely playing the manly role, okay? And why women mother is because of control issues. You do not trust that you have the right man. You do not trust this man is capable. And I say, fine, unless you enjoy losing, and this is the thing, babe. For me, I'm here to be with women who want to win. Wives who want to create purpose-led legacies. As an individual, there is you. Your energy, who you are as a person, because there is you as the woman, him as the hubby, and both of your energies are what feed into that relationship. For me, I'm concerned about you, and I'm speaking like this because I had to take a long look at the mirror at me, at who I had become and who I was gonna be, and that's how I was able to turn around everything without even having to do much. Because I realized that, you know what, hey babe, no, I had fallen asleep on the wheel. Okay, so let me see if you have any questions, anything that's coming up. And once again, if you are seriously considering divorce, you've tried therapy, you've tried marriage counseling and all this, and let me give you a tip, because I'm working with a lot of women who are in marriage counseling. I did personally, I didn't really do counseling, but one thing I'm noticing is that there's a lot of anger. There's a lot of anger. Babe, you cannot win when you are angry. You cannot win. And that's why I keep wondering, why would you sit in a counseling session when you are so annoyed? When you are so annoyed. So if you feel you need that extra support, because many of my clients come that way, it's like they go to fight in these marriage counseling sessions, and I'm like, babe, there's no way you're gonna win. Because even for your own body, even for your own well-being, how much anger is that? Yeah, anger is good. Anger is good. That is probably why you're getting support. But at some point, babe, we need to just put down this, no. At some point, we just have to let go of all this anger, all this animosity. Let me see if there's any other question. So like I've mentioned, if you want to work with me privately, feel free to DM me. Let's see if we are a good fit to work together. I have very limited spots for private work, and I'm just so grateful that everybody, first of all of us have been able to tune into this conversation and to spend your 30-40 minutes listening to me. I am so grateful. I am not anybody special. I just went through my own, I can say it became my awakening journey, because when I was seriously thinking about divorce, I kept asking myself, Linda, even if you were to get a man 10 times wealthier than the man you have right now, what would you do different? And I could not answer that question. Yeah, and that is what led me to look for so much information, because I knew I needed my own toolkit as a woman. I need my own bag of, skills. I needed to be equipped as a woman, as me, so that I could be able to navigate whatever was coming along the way. All right. So thanks so much for tuning in. If you have any further questions, feel free to DM me. And yeah, enjoy your Sunday. Bye.